Do you know the truth about ciabatta? Even if you think you do, I'm betting that you don't. Ciabatta is not this ancient Italian bread that bakers have been making for centuries. If you go up on Wikipedia, you'll see, it was created in 1982 by Arnaldo Cavallari. I got curious if this story was actually true. So come with me on a research party. I looked up Arnaldo Cavallari. He's actually pretty famous for driving cars. What I got confused about was that I found a lot of mentions of ciabatta before 1982, when everyone says that it was invented. 1981, see right there, that's the date. And this article mentions ciabatta showing up in San Francisco. It turns out there are a bunch of influences of ciabatta that aren't really tied to Cavallari. The first thing I found was Carol Field's book, The Italian Baker, and it had a recipe for ciabatta. I looked a little further, and this influential New York baker, Sarah Black, was kind of known for making ciabatta a thing in New York in the 80s. I found this article, and it includes her picture with her domed ciabatta bread that she made famous. And then I scrolled down. It mentions this woman, Peggy Dannenbaum. And I'm like, who is that? She didn't race cars, right? I thought that was the story. I looked her up. She ran this bread company. Here's their acquisition in 2007. This article right here describes what the company did. She says that they make traditional bread baked on a commercial scale. So basically her job was to bring different types of Italian bread to British people and blow it up and make it huge, make it viral in the 80s. I like this picture of her holding a bunch of bread, and she's credited here as being the person who popularized ciabatta. But this article is really the one that hits home for me. And it says about 10 years ago, 1981, Peggy Dannenbaum was asked to research the UK bread market. She brought in this thing called ciabatta. They started selling it to restaurants in 1985, and then a Marks and Spencer buyer, that's a big retail chain in the UK, ate it at a restaurant and said, I want this for our continental range. That was their big artisanal line. And then it says the ciabatta consignments grew 20, 40, 60. The continental range all but disappeared, except for ciabatta. So the story of ciabatta is complicated and nested. It is not an ancient bread, but it's also not just the sole invention of an Italian baker. It is this thing that was popularized by a bunch of people around the world, went viral, and it is still around today. By the way, I got this bread from Walmart, which, when you consider the origin, is not really that far off the mark.